And today, by the signing of the contract, you know that it is really going to happen. A new modern state-of-the-art school in any community goes a long way towards building that community, because when we talk about an environment conducive to learning, the state of the physical structure, the plant, the environment, is what contributes to the environment being conducive to learning. Over the past 2 years, and especially in the last year, we have seen improvements in the behavior and academic performance of the students at Newtown Primary. Given that, and with a new environment, we can be assured that great things are going to happen for and at the Newtown Primary School. Yes, and with that promise, I now invite the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development to officially welcome you and give opening remarks.
We thank God for another wonderful day He has given to us. We give Him all glory and honor, all praise. I wish all a very pleasant day and extend warmest welcome to everyone here, and in particular, the Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Roosevelt Skerrit, and members of Cabinet. His Excellency Wang Zonglai, Ambassador of the People's Republic of China and his team, and to all who grace this auspicious occasion, a hearty welcome to you. It is indeed a privilege and honor to be afforded this wonderful opportunity to welcome you and offer opening remarks on this propitious event. Today, we are gathered here to witness the signing of the contract for the construction of the new Newtown Primary School. It is often said, good things come to those who wait, and so your confidence has not been misplaced. It's happening before your very eyes. Parents, finally your concerns, your fears are allayed. The new Newtown Primary School will be a state-of-the-art modern, three-storied reinforced concrete structure with elevators to provide for the physically challenged. And a sick bay where students who are unwell will be attended. This new facility will provide a conducive learning environment for the children of Newtown and its environs. The Ministry of Education shared and understood your concerns about the old school, and we rejoice with you today. We give fullest kudos to the Honorable Prime Minister for this achievement. Once again, your government has delivered. We trust that during the construction phase, you will give your genuine support and cooperation in whatever way possible to this effort and completion. Kindly ensure that the facility remains a gem and a beacon of learning for your children. I cannot end without expressing heartfelt gratitude to the People's Republic of China for coming through for us once more. Our gratitude springs from deep within, and we truly appreciate your friendship and continued support. Thank you, and may God bless you. And may God bless the Commonwealth of Dominica. I thank you.
Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica. Honorable Peter Seja, the Minister for Education and Human Resource Development. My Cabinet colleagues, His Excellency, the Ambassador of the People's Republic of China to Dominica, Mr. Wang Zonglai, other officials of the Embassy of the People's Republic of China in Dominica, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Ms. Marcella Powell, and other members of staff of the Ministry of Education, other government officials, the residents of Newtown, the principal and staff of the Newtown Primary School, the media, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I would want to also take this moment to express my heartfelt welcome to everyone here present this morning, and in particular in the Roseau South constituency, the heart of the constituency, Newtown. Thank you. It is indeed a great moment for us in Newtown and the constituency on a whole. But as I always remark, and it is in fact, we can say an international slogan, that good things come to those who wait. And I say it's a good thing for many reasons. And the main reason is that what we're experiencing here today is a result of the generosity of the Honorable Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica. Because the fact is that the school which is intended to be built was a gift to the Honorable Prime Minister for his constituency, for Thibault in particular. But the Prime Minister, in his own wisdom and generosity, and looking at the needs of the entire country, his eyes fell on the Roseau South constituency, on Newtown in particular, at the present Newtown Primary School, and felt that that school should come in Newtown, the new Newtown Primary School. Let us really thank the Prime Minister for that level of generosity. In Newtown and the Roseau South constituency, our motto is promise made, promise kept. Promise made, promise kept. And this new Newtown Primary School that is to be built for the people of the Roseau South constituency and beyond is a promise which is being kept. I believe it is very fair to say that there was a very high level of anxiety in the Newtown community, the PTA, the staff and students of the Newtown Primary School. Because we met on several occasions and we were given dates upon dates. Well, it's August, it's September, it's later. And as we progressed, the anxiety built and built and built. But today is a new beginning. I believe that that level of anxiety has reduced significantly, and everyone is looking forward to the first stone, or the breaking of the ground, for the commencement of the construction of the new Newtown Primary School. Because what we are witnessing today is a signing of the contract for the construction of that school. The Newtown Primary School has had its challenges, like every other school, like every other institution in Dominica. Everyone, even us, we have our own challenges. And whilst we sympathize with the staff and the students and the PTA and parents of the school, we kept along in trying to maintain the school in a manner that was conducive to learning. But the challenges became greater as time progressed. And I'm sure today we can begin to speak of those challenges being faced frontally in a practical way, in a tangible way, with the now beginning of the construction of the new school. The Newtown Primary School serves a very large catchment area. In fact, my colleague, Cabinet Minister from the Grand Bay constituency, Honorable Justina Charles, whispered to me yesterday that there are students coming from Grand Bay to the Newtown Primary School. There are students from Scottsdale, Point Michel, Loubier, the entire Roseau South constituency. So it is in fact covering a very large area. And we can understand why this school is so important and why the Honorable Prime Minister took that decision to put that new school in the Newtown community. I am very satisfied that the features that are presented in the design of the school will meet all requirements. I will leave the specifics for the minister to speak to. But what I can say is that this new 3-story building with a semblance of a 4th floor in the form of an attic at the top is going to be a very magnificent edifice here in Newtown and the Roseau South constituency. It's going to be a state-of-the-art building. And we know that with what we have seen in terms of the quality of work, the speed of work by our great friends from the People's Republic of China, we can expect nothing less but a magnificent feature in terms of the state-of-the-art of this new primary school. One of the important features of that school is the installation of provisions made for elevators in the school, which will assist in meeting the challenges of our challenged students. That will be the school in Dominica so far with the only elevator in that school. That is in fact a good feature, and I'm sure that the students who will be attending that new Newtown Primary School will enjoy all the features to be included in this state-of-the-art primary school. I am positive, I'm satisfied that the impact of that new school on the community of Newtown and the Roseau South constituency and beyond will be positive. Provisions will be made for a roll call of approximately 300 students, and I'm sure that parents with the new students in the near future would certainly look forward to wanting to send the children to this new school. The environment there will be one which will be very conducive to learning, although we know in terms of the distribution of students throughout the country is based on catchment areas.
That's right.
Catchment areas. So I'm sure that we will stick to the catchment area, yes, and I'm sure we will meet the demands of that catchment area because of that new school to be built. And I'm sure that all the features of that new school will create and provide the environment that is conducive to learning, an environment that is very conducive to teaching, an environment that every parent and every person in the Newtown community and the Roseau South constituency will cherish. I want to thank the Honorable Prime Minister in particular, the government of Dominica, the Ministry of Education, the people and the People's Republic of China, for that gift to us of the Rosa South constituency, the Ministry of Education, the contractors who will be constructing the new school. A hearty thank you to all of you, and I eagerly look forward to the commissioning and opening of this new magnificent feature of the new Newtown Primary School. So may God bless us, may God bless the government and the people of the People's Republic of China. May God bless the Commonwealth of Dominica. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chair. Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Ambassador of the People's Republic of China to Dominica, Mr. Wong Zonglai, my fellow cabinet colleagues who are well represented here this morning, other officials of the Embassy of the People's Republic of China in Dominica, Mr. Zhang, China Civil Construction Limited, Chief Education Officer, Permanent Secretary Ms. Marcella Powell, and other officials of the Ministry of Education, other government officials here present, principal and staff of the Newtown Primary School, members of President and executive members of the PTA, parents, well-wishers, friends of Newtown Primary, members of the media, and of course, most importantly, a pleasant good morning to you, the students of Newtown Primary School. Oh, give thanks to the Lord, for he is good, and his mercies endureth forever. Today marks the beginning of a new beginning in the lives of the residents and students of Newtown and environs, as we join you in celebrating this long-awaited new school for the community. Your patience have finally borne fruits, and so I believe that the saying, "Good things come to those who wait," is being manifested here today in a practical way. The old Newtown Primary School has served Newtown and surrounding communities for the past 30 years or more. We recognize that the age of the building, its deteriorated structural condition, has been a constant reminder to us of the dire need for a new structure that is both comfortable and conducive to teaching and learning. Additionally, the persistent threat of slope failure also dictated changes in the location and alignment of the building to ensure the safety of the users. Friends, the mission of the Dominica Labour Party government is to provide a better life for every Dominican. And we are convinced that this will be achieved through the provision of quality education for all in a safe, friendly environment, and Newtown is no exception. Contrary to the views postulated by some leaders in this beloved country of ours, the future of Dominica rests solely on every Dominican child being given an opportunity to be educated. That is why the government back in 2005 created universal access to secondary education, thereby providing every child who completes grade 6 a place at one of our high schools. That is why, my friends, your government provides support to students around the island in the form of uniforms, textbooks, bus transportation to and from school, payment of examination fees, the provision of meals to underprivileged students, and the list continues. The government of Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit sees the dawning of a new day for Dominica, when every home from Penville to Petite Savanne, from Boetica to Bioche, shall have a graduate with a bachelor's or master's degree, when this will no longer be a privilege for a select few. That, my friends, is the vision of your government. And that is why public spending in education has grown steadily over the past decade, both as a share of total public expenditure and as a percentage of GDP. In fact, in recent times, we have more than doubled spending in education. The primary school in Newtown is consistent with government's policy to construct schools which meet the needs of education and the students of the 21st century. Our objective, therefore, is to provide quality education to ensure that each child succeeds as a strategy for economic development and poverty alleviation. Achieving and maintaining this requires education that is a robust foundation for future success. Newtown Primary, therefore, when completed, like Salibert, Saint-Sauveur, and Roosevelt Douglas Primary, and the continued improvements at schools like Dublin, Penville, Bells, and others represent that strategy. It must be noted, however, that Newtown Primary, unlike any other school on island, affords the children of Newtown and environs of all abilities and disabilities the conducive environment for learning. When completed, your school, the Newtown Primary School, will, among others, have a principal's office and secretary's office, 14 classrooms, staff room, a library, science lab, kitchen, art room, sick bay, washroom facilities for staff and students, and, as your PAL rep rightly said, elevators to provide access for challenged students. Newtown, this is a first for Dominica. The contract entails not only the construction of the building, but also the reconstruction of the roadway leading to the school, parking lot, and a hard court. Approximately 300 students and 17 teachers will benefit from this new facility, which should radically transform the delivery of education in this area. I must commend you, the teachers and the principal, and a supportive parent-teachers body for the tremendous work that you have been doing here in Newtown. Your government has always been committed to providing a new school facility for this community. And I wish to pause now to thank the principal and teachers for continuing to perform under the most challenging circumstances. Thank you for your dedication and commitment to the students of Dominica, and in particular, the students of the Newtown family. To the PTA executive and parents, thanks for your patience, your endurance, and your ability and willingness to work with us at the Ministry of Education, even when we disagreed with your views. Be assured that your school will be aesthetically pleasing and will help improve student academic performance and will help to facilitate to conduct the conduct of social, cultural, and community activities. The building will meet the codes and standards to withstand natural disasters common to Dominica and will serve as an emergency shelter for residents of the area. I wish to advise that to date, the government of Dominica has spent over 500,000 EC dollars on the construction of 2 retaining walls, as they were preconditions for building this new facility. I wish also to remind you that back in 2004, when our visionary leader, Roosevelt Skerrit, Prime Minister of this country, established diplomatic relationships with the People's Republic of China. Up until this day, this move is still being criticized by an opposition which suffers from political disequilibrium. But I'm pleased to inform that the new primary school here in Newtown is yet another gift from the People's Republic of China, born out of this fertile relationship established 9 years ago. Construction work will be undertaken by the China Construction Company. The project is expected to be completed within 14 months at a cost of roughly 6 million EC dollars. And again, I reiterate that this is a gift to the people of Newtown by the government and the people of the People's Republic of China. As government, we believe that communities are stewards of public facilities. It is our expectation that you, the residents, will take full ownership of the school for its upkeep and protection. During the construction phase, we request your cooperation and patience, even as you have been in the past. There will, of course, be some inconveniences, but you have demonstrated over the years that the people of the Newtown family, school family, are by far some of the most understanding and cooperative in Dominica. I wish to thank all the individuals organizations, departments of government who have partnered with the Ministry of Education in developing this project and making the long-awaited dream of the children and residents of this area a reality. To the students of Newtown Primary, I say to you simply, your gratitude to the People's Republic of China and the Honorable Prime Minister and the government of Dominica for their generosity can be demonstrated simply by being at school every day and working harder than you ever did before. To the parents of this school family, the easiest way of saying thanks is by working with your children and ensuring their academic success and strengthening the close working relationship that you have forged with the principal, staff, with Newtown Primary. Again, I want to thank you for your support throughout the period, and I wish you every success in your future undertakings. May God bless the students of Newtown Primary School. May God bless the Newtown Primary School family, the government and people of the People's Republic of China, and may God bless the Commonwealth of Dominica. I thank you.
Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt, Scarlett, and ministers and other cabinet ministers. Honorable Minister for Education and Human Resource Development, Mr. Peter Senrang. Honorable Minister for Information, Telecommunication and Constituency Empowerment, Mr. Ambrose George. Other officials from different ministries. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Chief Education Officer, Assistant Chief Education Officer, District Education Officers, other government officials, and officers of the Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development, principal staff and students of the Newtown Primary School, members of the Newtown constituency, members of the media, friends, ladies and gentlemen. I have been to Newtown Primary School many times, but I'm extremely happy today. I'm very glad to be here today to witness the signing of the contracts of the construction of the Newtown Primary School. Being here with so many young boys and girls, I couldn't help but recall the years when I went to the primary school. During that time, I got exposed to new knowledge every day, made a lot of friends, and had so much fun. But it's a pity I cannot dance like the young girl and young boy. You can teach me later. Huh? I can say those days are unforgettable. Without those fruitful days, my life would have been very different, and you would not have seen me here in Dominica today. Education makes dreams come true. By investing in education, a country provides its citizens with more chances to succeed, and the success of individuals in return makes the country prosperous and stable. Many of you may have heard of the great thinking of the Chinese dream by His Excellency Xi Jinping, President of China. The Chinese dream is a dream shared by all the Chinese people and is connected closely with their own dreams. To realize the Chinese dream, the Chinese government is making great efforts in developing education. More and more students from families facing economic difficulties are getting chances to go to school, and the quality of education on both fundamental and higher levels is being improved. Ladies and gentlemen, since our two countries established diplomatic relations almost 10 years ago, we have seen rapid and sound development in our bilateral relations. Our cooperation has been in various fields, among which education has always been a top priority. And today, the signing of the contracts for the construction of the Newtown Primary School gives us another example of our existing good cooperation. When completed next year, the new facilities for the Newtown Primary School. In other words, I just learned from honorable ministers, it should be a new Newtown Primary School. The new facilities will provide the students with better conditions to study in. I sincerely wish that you boys and girls can treasure the good conditions, work hard to realize your dreams, and in the future contribute to the prosperity of your country, as well to the development of the relations between the People's Republic of China and the Commonwealth of Dominica. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. At this time, I want to recognize the little people on the side there from the preschool. They are the future students and they have been so good standing out there. So thank you for participating. An educated people makes a country more stable, and our Honorable Prime Minister believes in an educated people, and he has done a lot towards that belief. And so, without hesitation, I invite him to the podium.
Let me first of all recognize the presence of the Honorable Minister for Education, Honorable Peter Saint-Jean, the Honorable Ambrose George, the Member of Parliament for the Rosa South constituency, of course Newtown included. Let me recognize the presence of His Excellency Ambassador Zhong Lai, the Ambassador of the People's Republic of China to Dominica, and the staff of the embassy. My cabinet colleagues here present, Mrs. Powell, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, and the staff of the Ministry of Education. We have here also the principal and staff of the Newtown Primary School, the former principal of many years here, former Minister of Education also, Miss Williams, Sonia Williams, to all the parents who are here, the teachers and principal of the Newtown preschool, the children, the students of the Newtown primary school. I'm very happy to be here this morning to witness the signing of a very important contract that is for the construction of the new Newtown primary school. I want to first of all thank the government of the People's Republic of China for this most generous gift to the children of Dominica. I want to say, Ambassador, to you personally, thank you for the tremendous efforts which you have placed in ensuring that we are here today to sign this contract. I want to also recognize your staff at the embassy who received many visits from Ambassador Farrell, having sent by me to inquire about the progress of the commencement of the Newtown Primary School. And yourself and your staff have always been very, very helpful in the process. I want to ask that you convey to the leadership of China the government of Dominica and the people of Dominica's appreciation for this very important gift. Our relationship is based on the principle of non-interference in our own domestic issues, and it is centered around the adherence to the One China policy. That is the benchmark of the relationship between China and Dominica. And Dominican government continues to recognize the One China policy and play our part for the peaceful unification of the whole of China. I want to recognize the efforts of the Minister for Education, the Permanent Secretary, and the staff for all the efforts in, first of all, preparing the site. As the Minister indicated, the government spent in excess of $500,000 to construct certain retaining walls as part of our commitment. I want to recognize the efforts of the Minister, the Pilot for the area, Honorable Amos George, who played great leadership role in ensuring that the project and addressing the very concerning condition of the Newtown Primary School is addressed once and for all. Of course, the cost of this school is 2.38 million United States dollars, which is an equivalent of 6.37 million EC dollars. This is an amount which is an absolute gift by the People's Republic of China to Dominica, and it is because of the extraordinary relationship which exists between our two countries. Oftentimes you hear people ask, what is it that the government is doing for education? What is it the government is doing for young people? But this is one of the things that we're doing for the young people of Dominica. The construction of a modern primary school, a more conducive environment for learning, and the hope is that our students will do even better under these very much improved conditions. When this government came into office in 2000, only 7% of all high school graduates in Dominica had access to the college. Only 7%. And I can speak about the conditions at the college as a student, and I could speak with authority on the conditions of the college as a lecturer there. So I'm not telling you what people have told me. I'm telling you of my own personal experiences up there, and the conditions were deplorable at the college at the time. And as fate will have it, I happened to become the Minister for Education in 2001. And one of the first projects I embarked on was the redevelopment of the colleges in Dominica to create more access to our students. Because there's no way a country can build itself and compete in a very difficult and challenging world if our people are educated and have a skill. So when people come to you and say to you, well, education is not important, you must ask them, why don't they keep their children at home? Why do they go and they take loans to send their children to school? It is saying education is not important. Education is the cornerstone of a country's development. You can have all the resources you wish. If your people are not trained and talented and skilled, it will be of no value to anybody living in the country. So we went ahead and we redeveloped the college. and we created greater access to the college. So in 2000, coming to office, by 2002, we had created the State College. And today, as we speak, today, 2013, we have 80% access to the college for young people in Dominica, graduates of the high schools in Dominica. So moving from 7% in 2002 to 80% as it is now. And we are on onward march to ensure that in the next few years, we will have universal access to the State College in Dominica. And this is why we have constructed a new college at a cost of $30 million, and to put the technology there to ensure that we can achieve that objective. When we came into office in 2000, and moving to 2002 and 2005, we had only about 44% of primary school students having access to high school. 44%. From 2005, because of an ambitious endeavor on the part of the government, because of investments in education, because of investments in the schools, training teachers, and today the Ministry of Education has the most qualified people you can find anywhere in the government system, more than we have had 10 years or 15 or 20 years ago. And it is because of focus and strategic investments in our human resources. And today we speak about, from 2005, 100% of access to secondary school in Dominica. And my hope and prayer is that we all have to recognize that what we do it to the least of our brothers and sisters. That if we have a responsibility, we must do it with fairness and impartiality. That the children of Dominica who are entrusted in our care must be treated as if they were our very own, as if they are our children, or nieces and nephews. We cannot see them as any other thing but such. And therefore we have to put all our power and might into educating these children. Because what we do for them and with them in the classroom will determine what they become tomorrow. And if we do not invest our time and understand that we are working for the children of Dominica, the future or the consequences of our action or inaction will be with us. So I am saying to some people that when you work for the government and the people of Dominica, you're not working for Roosevelt Scary. Because as far as I'm concerned, my conscience is clear as insofar as helping people and my efforts towards helping people. And when I understand from the Member of Parliament that your motto here is promise made, promise kept. Well, this is Roosevelt Scary. When we make a promise, these promises are kept. And we made a promise to you here in Newtown that the government of Dominica, with the help of the government of China, shall provide you with a new school. It took us some time, but the promise is being kept. And the Member of Parliament indicated that this school originally should have been in my constituency. And I'm sure my constituents listening, somebody may be upset. But as Prime Minister, I have a responsibility and duty to not only look at my constituency alone, but the entire country. And I felt that Newtown had a greater problem than my constituency. And I have handed over this school to the Newtown Primary School. So, Minister for Constituency Empowerment, I might need about $400,000 for the Tibo Primary School. So you may need to find out for me some way. But you can speak to the Minister of Finance and I'm sure he will help. But I'm very happy to be here. And I want to thank the principal and staff for their patience, the parents. Because I know there are a lot of machinations for protests, keeping children home, not coming to school. My friends, my dear teachers, my dear parents, the only people who will suffer when we keep our children home are our children. And I believe there are other ways we can find to alert the authorities of concerns which we have in respect to the conditions of the schools. But do not ever keep your children home. When you keep your children home, they will grow up believing that whenever there is a difficulty, their action to take is to be devious. So watch what we do and watch what we say in the presence of our children. These children are brighter than us, and we have to be careful of this. So I am speaking to you here as a friend of yourself to say to you that while there will be challenges, we have to be mindful of actions we take. Because this is a developing country. We will never have all the resources required to address all of the issues in Dominica. There are students, there are communities and cities and states in the United States of America where there are millions of children who can't find access to school, who cannot go to school because the schools are in a deplorable condition, or teachers are not willing to come. And this is why they have been recruiting our teachers in the Caribbean, because American teachers do not want to go in the inner cities where poverty is rampant in the United States. And many schools were without teachers, and they came recruiting our teachers here in Dominica, Jamaica, Barbados, elsewhere. So this is the #1 economy in the world. Dominica is not even in the top 100. So if the #1 is having challenges, you expect us here in Dominica not to have challenges? And people who criticize, and if criticism alone could build this country, well, Dominica would be a first world country. We would be one of the richest countries in the world. But unfortunately, criticizing is not going to move anything, unless if you can come with a constructive alternative, backed with resources, backed with money to do what is that you're proposing alternatively to what this government is doing. So if you think we should have a 10-story building here in Newtown instead of a 4, tell us where you're going to finance the 10-story building. If you think you're going to build an international airport, you must tell us where you're getting the money, how you're going to raise it, how you're going to finance it. Because all of us in our minds, all of us as people, have things that we want for ourselves. But there's always this reminder, boy, how am I getting money to do that? And some of us are too burdened financially with the banks and credit unions that all of our salaries go towards paying our mortgages and our car loan and our student loans, that we go home with a few dollars. So this is how Dominica is, really. And it is because of a progressive and strategic foreign policy and of the graciousness of our friends like the Chinese government and the Chinese people, we have been able to address a number of social and economic challenges confronting our country. And this is why I am personally, as the Prime Minister of this country, will always be eternally grateful to the government and people of China. Because at every turn I have gone to them, they have responded in the affirmative. And in some cases, they have even offered us things. We don't have to go and ask them. They come to us and offer us assistance because of the strong bonds of friendship which exist between our two countries. And very critically and importantly, because of the generosity of the government and people of China. And mark you, China has a lot of poverty. There are a lot of challenges in China. And I'm sure that this money could have been spent in thousands of cities across China. But the Chinese government recognizes that it has a greater responsibility to the world as a citizen of the world. And this is why they're reaching out to people. So I'm very grateful to the Chinese government for this gift. And I'm very grateful to the principal. I know the principal very well. A very progressive Dominican and very committed to what he does. and a very formidable force. I'm not sure whether you still on the deity, but a very formidable force on the Dominican Association of Teachers. And we have to recognize people when they're doing well. So if we believe that a principal is a good principal, an excellent one, we must say so. And we must tell our children so. Because from what I know, he is an exceptional teacher whose mind and body and soul and whole being is within the teaching and his desire to see our children do well. And we have hundreds of teachers across the country like this, hundreds across like this, who are working under trying circumstances to bring our children up in the right way. I do not want to take much time because the attention span of our children have gone since about 15 minutes ago, well, over an hour ago. And as a teacher, I never like teaching for too long because we have to ensure that if I was in a classroom, I have a little skit or something to utilize and get the attention, or do a little dance or something. But for me, education will continue to be at the center of the government's efforts toward developing this country. And my hope and prayer is that while there are more opportunities, that our parents and our students, and indeed our teachers, would not become complacent. We must strive for excellence at all times, and we must ensure that every single child succeeds. We cannot only pay attention to the quote-unquote the bright ones and not pay attention to the slow ones. We have to ensure that our lesson plans, our teaching will capture every single child in our class and everyone can succeed. Because every child is bright. It is up to us the teachers to extract that brightness and let it magnify itself in the classroom and in the student. I am very happy to be here in Newtown, very happy to be here in Newtown. And for those who are speculating, and I'm not talking to the students there because I don't talk politics to students at all, but for the listening public and for you grown-ups, those who are speculating about the elections, they were the Siscarit in Portsmouth, he was in Capuchin, he was in Lubé, he was in Silver Lake, he was in Collio, he was in Dubla, he was in college, and he's here in Newtown. I'm the Prime Minister of Dominica. I mean, I don't have to go all to Vacas or my constituents. I can go anywhere in Dominica at any time. So, that's what it is. Meeting people, hearing from them, hearing their complaints, and addressing their concerns where I can. So, I really don't understand this thing. I mean, as if all I'm supposed to be in a vehicle and so on, and drop me off and run inside and run back outside, and nobody can see me, nobody can touch me. I am very happy to be here in Newtown, as I was so happy to have been in Silver Lake last night. And I never write the date of elections down, so nobody can find it anywhere. You understand? But certainly, I have not been thinking about this. There are more pressing issues confronting the country to focus on than to focus on the election. But whenever it is called, I am ready, and I'm sure I'll be here back in Newtown several times to visit the construction of this school. But before I leave, I want to specially and publicly recognize the efforts of the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education. There are challenges there, but I think she is committed to helping and addressing the concerns. And you have my confidence, and my confidence is to get. I mark very hard. I don't give people marks just like that. But she is certainly trying her best within the ministry. And I hope all of us can recognize that our duty is to the people of this country. And let us do our best for them and with them. I thank you, Mr. Principal. I thank you, Mr. Minister, for having me. May God bless our students. May God bless our Dominica. May God bless the government and people of China. And may God continue to bless the relationship. I will say to my dear students that when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you must do is pray to the Lord. Or I see some of our Rastafarians there, pray to to Jah, and I saw my Muslim brothers and sisters here to your God Allah. But please pray for yourself, your parents, for your teachers, and pray for me as I pray for you also. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Out of the mouth of babes. I'm not sure if I should say anything else. Thanks. Madam Chair, you did a very excellent job in introducing the various persons and groups gathered here this morning. And so with your permission, may I proceed my introduction by simply saying protocol has been established. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I need to begin by saying thank you to God. When I left here last night, it was raining cats and dogs. And I was wondering if the ceremony would be held in this location. God, in His infinite wisdom, has granted us fine weather to see the ceremony going through smoothly. So let's say thank you to God. In the words of my Prime Minister, God is good, and all the time. Thank you very much. So we want to say thank you to Madam Chair for a very good job this morning. The Prime Minister referred to her as Master or Mistress of Ceremonies. And so thank you very much, Mrs. Fountain, for doing a very good job. We want to say thank you to the Minister for Education, Honorable Peter Seja. Every time he meets me, and he will meet me very often, not you. He will say like, Mr. Compel, we are working, you know. We are working. And every time he says that, he will reassure my faith that something is happening and something will happen. And today we are very thankful to you, Mr. Minister, for the hard work that you have done in ensuring that this project is done. By saying thank you to the Minister, I want to extend thanks to the hardworking technical staff of the Ministry of Education and Human Resource, headed by the Permanent Secretary. All the officers, we have had several meetings that we have heard, and the officers of the Education Department will visit regularly to, how do I say it, to allay the fears of the parents and students and staff of the Newtown Primary School. So, Mrs. Fontaine, Dr. Blaise, and all the other officers of the Ministry of Education, our profound gratitude to you. I want to say thank you too for Miss Sonia Williams. You heard that she's a former principal of the Newtown Primary School. I'm actually her student. I'm following her footsteps. We worked here at the Newtown Primary School as teachers, and then she became my supervisor, and then I moved on, and I replaced her. We have a very good relationship, and it's not surprising that Miss Williams is here and providing support. Put your hands together for Miss Williams. Thank you very much, Miss Williams, for your support. To the other members of Cabinet who are here, we are very thankful to you for gracing this ceremony with your presence, and we know that you're working closely with our parliamentary representative to ensure that things work and work well. So thank you very much for coming. I need to say thank you to our parliamentary representative. Several speakers, including the Prime Minister, referred to the Newtown Primary School family. The Honorable Ambrose George is a member of that family. Mr. George is always asking about the progress, what is happening at the school. He's always responding to our requests. And so, Mr. George, our sincere thanks to you for the kind of representation that you've given to Newtown Primary School. Thank you very much. To members of the students of the Ginger Preschool and Charlotte Nursery School, we want to thank you for coming. As was alluded to earlier, that you are the future beneficiaries of the soon-to-be-built new Newtown Primary School, and so we want to thank you for coming. We want to say thank you to members of the media. You have been here. The information is already out for those of you who carried live. For the other persons, it will go out to all and sundry that the new school will be built, is about to be built, and we want to thank you for coming and providing some level of coverage, some level of publicity to the activity. To the members of the PTA executive, to all the members of the PTA, to Mr. Newbeck, President in particular, sincere thanks to you. It is your leadership why we have not had the debates, how do you call it, the strikes, the demonstrations that have been mentioned. Mr. Newbeck, for those of you who do not know, is a man who has been keeping the members of the executive to begin with and the general membership together. You have had to quell several rebellions, I would say. Persons trying to think that we, meaning the executive of the PTA, are soft. But it's through his leadership he's able to keep them quiet. And today, his style of leadership is proven to be meaningful and rewarding with the signing today of the contract for the commencement of the new school. So thank you very much, PTA executive. Thank you very much, Mr. Newbeck. Profound gratitude to you, His Excellency, Ambassador. Please convey our sincere gratitude from the government of Dominica, but also from the students, parents, and teachers of the Newtown Primary School to the government and people of the People's Republic of China. Thank you very much for this wonderful gift. As a teacher, I want you to do an exercise with me. I want you to close your eyes. Close your eyes, everybody, please. No talking, close your eyes. Students, parents, everybody. It is absolutely dark. It's darkness all around you. You can't see anything. Open your eyes now. Yes. There's light. There's light at the end of the tunnel. And there's light at the end of the tunnel because of the Honorable Prime Minister. And so, Honorable Prime Minister, when you gave those glowing compliments to me, I said you blew my high in local terms. Because I have planned something to do and then it might appear that it's because you do for me, I'm doing for you. Well, not so. But out of the depth of my heart, I really want to liken the Prime Minister as a quarter miler. Those of you who know track and field athletics, the 400 meters race is the hardest race. It requires an individual with strong physique and strong heart. This is the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica. And so he is leading us through the dark channel, and he has a torch showing the light. And now we can see the light. I want to thank you very much, Mr. Prime Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank every one of you for coming. And if by chance I missed out anybody or any group, please, it wasn't calculated. Blame it on human imperfections. Thank you very much.